Welcome guys, and in today's video we're going to be doing a product review on the Killer Ink Stealth Liner Shader Machine. Without further ado, let's get to it. Right, so here's the machine in question. What we're going to be reviewing today, the Killer Ink Stealth Liner Shader Machine. Apologies, I have thrown away the box, so I will not be able to do an unboxing about it. But, yep, I got this from Killer Ink about 2 months ago. Retails from about £112 sterling. And what you get is pretty much what you see. Although I have customized this a little bit with the help of my mentor, but we'll get into that in a little bit. What drew me to the machine initially was this pentagram style design to it, being the sucker of a metalhead that I am. So anything that looks cool and metal, I will always go for it first. Yeah. So this out of the box, what you get is obviously your machine, and you get a little bag of a couple spare contact screws that comes with it in a little baggie there. But as you can probably tell, that is not the contact screw that I have on the machine at the moment, because thanks to my mentor, as I said, we have customized this a little bit, because it came with this little contact screw arrangement. As you can tell, it's a bit of a difference, and we set it up to the way we set it up as a shader, because the one thing we noticed that, as you can probably tell, if for all of you keen tattooers out there, that these have got pretty short posts in relation to the coils. The coils aren't that powerful, which is probably a downside to the machine. I definitely found it as a downside, because I got it straight out of the box and hooked it up to the power supply, and my biggest criticism, the throw wasn't that brilliant on it. The throw being, you see there, when the armature bar comes down, the space between the contact screw and your front spring there, the throw from the needle wasn't that brilliant. So I started fiddling about and trying to tune it myself, and the machine kept on cutting out. The space between the coils and the armature bar wasn't specifically great. There wasn't a gap there, no matter what configuration I set it up to. And fiddling about, took the coils out, see if there was any spaces underneath the coils, and there wasn't any. And the one thing, major criticism that I had about this machine as well, apart from the needle throw, was that the spring bars, these are obviously 16 gauge rear and front springs that we put on it. The spring bars were ridiculously heavy gauge. The armature bar is not that heavy, but the spring gauge was really heavy, and it seemed to be pushing the coils to very nearly max. They were getting real hot, and as I said, and the contact screw being as light as it was, the machine kept on tripping out. I had to really ramp up the voltage on my power supply to get it to even work, and it was really, well, get it to work with the needle throw that I thought was decent enough to even consider practicing tattooing, let alone let alone tattooing other people, but we are not at that stage yet, as you know. I'm an apprentice. So yeah, that's the only thing we really changed on it, and I say we because it was my mentor that helped me out on this, is the spring bars and put a bigger contact screw on, because these, it seemed a bit pitiful, and the adjustments was just, well, yeah, pretty much. So we set it up as a shader, and as you can see, it's got a nice decent throw on it. That being said, apart from that, I found the weight of this machine, whilst holding it in hand, was a really, really decently balanced machine. I know people try to avoid the fancy designs because the weight's all off. I actually find it a real nice machine to use. Once we sorted out the problems, and especially with the elastic band on, you had to ramp it up really. The coils were getting massively overloaded. But I think it's a really, really good machine. For practicing, at least. I wouldn't necessarily tattoo people with it, but yeah, and I could quite happily practice with this, and a lot of people are going to be looking out there for cheap machines to start off their tattooing journey, and I think you can't go... There are cheaper than this on Killer Ink, don't get me wrong, but for the price, I think you've got a real good machine here. And I mean, everything just seems to be very well built, and where your tightening screw here, where you put your tube, it's really robustly built there, and I like this design. I really do like this design there, as most people have got cents or pennies welded to their machines, but they're welcome to that sort of thing. And I really do like the way the tube goes in this thing, and the way it holds the tube. It's not really, you can't really, it's not too much guessing on how much tightness you've got to the machine, well, holding your tube in there, which is a good thing, my opinion. Still learning to set up and everything. It's real easy to get the tube in and out, because this space here, it works really well. I've only got a disposable to set it up with, but to me, it holds the tube really well. The tube goes in nice and easy, especially with a needle, and you can get some nice position to get the armature, to get the top hat on with your needle on to set it up. And yeah, overall, I'm really happy with the purchase. Haven't used it too often because of not practicing on fake skin too much, but yeah, I'm really happy with the overall quality of the machine, apart from the initial setup of the machine and noticing that the throw wasn't that brilliant. Once you fiddle around with it, it's not a bad bit of kit. So yeah, definitely worth the money that I paid for it. As I said, probably when the time comes, so it won't be using it on people because of the coils and still the limited amount of power this outputs. But yeah, definitely one of my better purchases in the tattoo machine world since I started off on rotaries, and then have gone, I wouldn't say backwards to coils, but definitely love the coils now. It almost feels a bit more comfortable to have a coil in my hand than a rotary. No, yeah, that's the way around, isn't it? Coil, not rotary. Rotary started off, finished with coils. Right, let's hook this puppy up to a power supply, and you can see how she sounds now. Got her hooked up to the power supply now, as you can tell. Running it at about 5. I'd say it's got a nice hum for the shading. Got a nice bog to this, nice feathery touch, perfect for all them soft shading moments. Don't know what it is about the sound of a coil machine. It just makes, makes me tingle, and it's absolutely amazing. And yeah, nice smooth running machine now. Good feeling to the bog. You know where you're there. And to whip it, love the sound of that. So yeah, overall, very good machine. As I said, set this up as a shader now. Love the sound of this. And yeah, can't wait to be using it for more practice and videoing it for you guys. So, as always, thanks for watching. And hit that subscribe button. And hit the like if you like what I've showed you today. And as always, I will catch you in the next video.